Hey everyone, and welcome. In today's tutorial, we're sewing up something bold, playful, and full of personality. The Erin handkerchief skirt. Erin is one of those pieces that makes a statement without even trying. With its unique handkerchief hem and the illusion of a shirt casually tied around the waist, this skirt brings movement, edge, and individuality to any outfit. But don't worry, it's also incredibly wearable. The elastic waistband keeps things comfy and beginner-friendly, while the asymmetrical design gives it that modern street-style twist we love. So grab your fabric, get your machine ready, and let's bring this standout skirt to life. Start by overlocking the sides of the sleeve if your fabric is runny. Fold the bias band in half lengthwise and give it a quick press with your iron to create a crease down the center. That'll be your guide. Now, fold the long edges in toward that center crease so they meet in the middle, with the right sides facing out. Press everything nicely in place as you go. With the sleeve right side up, open the bias tape and slide the raw edge of the slit right into the center fold of the tape. The slit edge should be neatly nestled in the middle, with the tape wrapping around it on both sides. Beginning at the top of the slit, stitch close to the inner edge of the bias tape, catching both sides at once. Sew slowly and carefully to ensure both sides of tape stay even. Continue stitching all the way down to the bottom of the slit. Fold the slit in half and sew a little diagonal seam on the top on the bias tape. Cut the bias tape excess. Pin the side edges of the sleeve together to hold them in place, right side to right side. Sew along the side edges of the sleeves using a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Press the seam open using an iron. Turn the sleeve right side out. Lay one cuff piece out flat with the wrong side facing up. Fold the cuff in half and then the top part of the cuff over by 1 centimeter, wrong side to wrong side. Press the folded edges with an iron. You can add fusible interfacing if you want the cuff to be stiffer, but it's an optional step. Now fold the cuff in half with the right sides facing each other. Pin the side edges together. Make sure the folded 1 centimeter edge is folded and pin it in place. sew along the side edges of the cuff piece using a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Once you have finished sewing, use a pair of scissors to trim the corners of the cuff at a diagonal angle. This will help reduce bulk and create a smoother, more professional finish. Turn the cuff right side out using a pointy object such as a chopstick or a knitting needle to push the corners out. Press the cuff using an iron. Next up, grab your outer cuff piece and place it on the bottom of the sleeve. They should be placed with their right sides facing each other. Once they're perfectly aligned, pin the two pieces together, making sure the edges are perfectly matched. Now it's time to sew. Using your trusty sewing machine, join the bottom of the sleeve to the top of the outer cuff. Make sure to keep a 1 centimeter seam allowance. After sewing, treat your fabric to a well-deserved press. Press the seam allowance towards the cuff. If the corners are too bulky, it's a good idea to cut them without cutting into the seam. Pin the undercuff in place around the cuff edge, making sure the seam allowance is inserted inside the cuff and the two leading front edges are symmetrical. Use a flat top stitch to securely attach the undercuff to the cuff edge. Sew at a distance of 0.5 centimeters from the edge. Now is a good time to attach a snap or a button, following the markings of the pattern. Grab your waistband pieces and fold them in half lengthwise so the long edges meet. This helps you find the center. Then, unfold them and take one of the long edges and fold it in by about 1 centimeter, wrong side to wrong side. Give it a good press with your iron to keep that fold nice and crisp. This little step will make things much easier when it's time to sew the waistband on. Take the skirt pieces and overlock the sides. Take one waistband piece and one skirt piece and lay them right sides together. Match up the long raw edge of the waistband with the top edge of the skirt and pin all the way across so nothing shifts while you sew. Fold the pieces in half and snip the centers to make a notch. Then match the notches. Stitch along this edge with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. When you're finished, gently press the seam upwards towards the waistband with your iron so everything looks neat and flat. Repeat with the second waistband and second skirt piece. Choose one of the skirt pieces, we will name it front, and press the seam allowance up towards the waistband. Now, fold the waistband in half so that the folded edge on the inside covers the waist seam. You should no longer see any raw edges, as they're now tucked neatly inside the waistband. Just as we did with the cuffs, once everything looks good, carefully top stitch close to the edge, about 0.1 centimeters away, making sure you're catching all the layers underneath. Go slowly here if you need to. When you're done, give the whole waistband a nice press to finish it off. Do not repeat with the back piece. Take the sleeves and place them onto the front piece, with right sides together. Line up the side edges, and position the top of the sleeve with the top edge of the waistband. Pin it in place so it stays put while you sew. You can choose to have the sleeve slit facing up toward the waistband or down toward the skirt, whichever look you prefer. Leave the side of the waistband open to insert the elastic later. Cut a piece of non-roll elastic using the measurement for your size from the size chart and cut it in half, so you'll have 2 pieces. Grab one and attach a safety pin to one end of the elastic to help you guide it through. Then, thread the elastic through the front waistband channel, gently pulling it along with the safety pin. As the end of the elastic starts to disappear into the channel, pause and pin it in place so it doesn't slip all the way in. Once both ends are through, pin them securely and sew a top stitch on each side of the waistband to hold the elastic in place. Take the front and back pieces and place them right sides together, with the sleeves tucked in between them. They'll be sandwiched inside. Match up the notches and make sure the waistband seams line up nicely. Once everything is aligned, pin along the sides to hold the layers in place before sewing. Now, fold the back waistband forward, wrapping it over the front waistband so it's nicely sandwiched inside. Make sure the raw edge of the back waistband is folded under, then pin the sides of the waistband to keep everything in place. Next, sew down the sides of the skirt using a 1 centimeter seam allowance, starting from the very top of the waistband and continuing all the way down to the hem. This will join the front and back pieces and close up the sides of your skirt. Press the seams open. Our little trick helped us encase the seam allowance inside the waistband while having the sleeves attached on the outside. Take the second piece of elastic that you cut earlier and place one end right on top of the side seam over the folded edge of the back waistband. Then, sew a top stitch at 1 centimeter to secure it and go over it a couple more times to reinforce the seam. This area gets a bit of tension, so extra strength helps. Repeat the same on the other side with the other end of the elastic. Flip the back waistband right side out. This will tuck the elastic neatly inside, sandwiched between the waistband layers. Now, take the inner side of the back waistband and fold the seam allowance under. It should already be pre-pressed from earlier. Tuck it in so the raw edge is hidden on the inside of the waistband. Pin the folded edge right along the waistband seam, making sure both the seam allowance and the elastic are fully enclosed inside the waistband. Now it's time to sew. Use a flat top stitch 0.1 centimeter from the edge to secure the inner waistband. As you sew, gently pull the elastic so the fabric stretches out evenly under the machine. This helps prevent puckering and keeps the gathers smooth. Take your time here. Slowly and steady gives the best result. Now for the final part, hemming the skirt. We're going to create a clean double-folded hem, including nicely finished corners. Start by flipping your skirt to the wrong side and, using a fabric marker or chalk, draw 2 parallel lines along the hem, one at 1 centimeter from the raw edge and another at 2 centimeters. These lines will help guide your folds and stitching. When you get to the corners, draw a diagonal line that connects to the second line, the 2 centimeter one, creating a 45-degree angle. Fold the corner in along that diagonal line so the edges meet neatly, forming a clean point. Then, sew along the space between the second and first line. That's the 1 centimeter wide channel, following your markings. After stitching the corners, trim the excess fabric close to the seam to reduce bulk. This helps the corners sit flat when turned right side out. Turn the corner right side out and fold the raw edges up to the first line, 1 centimeter. Then fold again along the second line, 2 centimeters, enclosing the raw edge. Pin in place, all along the skirt hem and press if needed. Sew a top stitch all around the skirt at 0.1 centimeters from the inner folded edge. Give the hem a press with the iron. Your skirt is now ready. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon.